Who doesn't enjoy a great apocalypse? Am I right? And they come in a surprisingly high number of varieties. Today, my top 10 apocalypse movies. Welcome to Fantasy for the Ages, the show where a father and son talk about fantasy, science fiction, and other nerdy things that we enjoy. Today, I'm talking about apocalyptic movies, a top 10 list for you. If you enjoy this, be sure to hit the like button down below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, Zach and I would really value having you join the crowd. Thanks. Apocalypse. The definition is the complete final destruction of the world. I mean, that's the primary definition. Now, let's be clear here. I've already given you an episode on top 10 disaster movies. An apocalypse can be considered a disaster. However, most disasters come nowhere close to being apocalyptic. So, for example, the disaster movie San Andreas. I love that movie. It's not necessarily the best ever, but it's very entertaining. I like The Rock, he stars. It's a delightful disaster movie. But in no way is it apocalyptic. It only focuses on the West Coast of the United States. We need much broader, far reaching impacts to be apocalyptic. An apocalypse, though, can mean the destruction of the world in a variety of ways. The world can literally blow up, it can become a radioactive wasteland, it can become taken over by zombies. I will consider for this top 10 list any event that involves the complete destruction of the world as it is, becoming something from which there's just no coming back. So, what's on my list? And will you agree with the order of this top 10? Let's find out. And it's hard to shape a top 10 with only 10. So, I do have some honorable mentions just to throw in here first, because there's value in each of these movies, but not good enough to be on the top 10. So, we've got On the Beach, 1959 classic film, black and white. It's based on a book by Neville Shute. It's a depressing story, really, because the world's gone nuclear. Nuclear war happened, and the entire northern hemisphere has been wiped out. And you've got some people in Australia watching the radiation creep down. What's going to happen? Will there be anything left to humanity? I'm not going to spoil it for you. You'd have to find out. A number of big name actors were in here, and one that I personally enjoyed seeing is Anthony Perkins. This is the year before he became Norman Bates in Psycho. He was already kind of a young stud doing a lot of films for Paramount Pictures back in those days, but On the Beach, it was fun to see him there. Next honorable mention goes to The Stand, the 1994 miniseries based on Stephen King's book. That's my favorite Stephen King novel. The reason it's honorable mention is it's not a movie. I mean, it's a TV movie, it's a mini series, but I'm not considering it a true movie. It didn't go to cinema theaters. But the world does come to a screeching stop due to a pandemic, a virus, a genetically manipulated virus that wipes out most of the human race. And that's just the beginning of the story. Then I've got 2004's Shaun of the Dead. This is a zombie apocalypse, but it is also a delightful comedy film. And if you've not seen Shaun of the Dead, it's very worthy. It does have great special effects. You've got some gore in there, but it's not leaning into that as the main point. It's about entertainment. This is a funny, funny movie. And especially if you do like zombie apocalyptic films, this is top level, people. Speaking of zombies, I've got another one where the world comes crashing down due to zombies, and that's Zombieland from 2009. Also, somewhat of a comedy. The world comes crashing down because of a virus, and most people die and turn to zombies. There is a scene with Bill Murray in this movie. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, so funny. And well done. Top level production, Zombieland. Love it. Okay, my top 10 lists, though. Which movies have I felt worthy? Let's do these now from the bottom to the top. Number 10 is I Am Legend, the Will Smith movie from 2007. This is based on a novel, has source material, and while the movie was very successful, some people didn't like it because it strays from the source material. But if you just take the movie for what it is, it's a great apocalyptic movie. The world comes crashing down because they think they found a cure for cancer by changing the vaccine for the measles. Unfortunately, that vaccine ends up killing most of the population of the world. And those who survive turn into kind of vampiric night dwellers that are hungry for blood. Interesting way for the world to end. There's a lot more to the movie. Again, I'm not giving you all the spoilers, just a taste. But that's my number 10, I Am Legend. Number 9, The Matrix. Just the 1999 original movie starring Keanu Reeves and a cast of others. The Matrix is post apocalyptic because the world has already ended. The robots took over, artificial intelligence. And now, well, I mean, you've got to know what The Matrix is about. But fantastic film. I really enjoy it. I do like the sequels as well, but The Matrix, that was the best of the bunch. Number 8, The Day After Tomorrow, 2004. This is on my disaster movie list as well. This is one that's based on climate change and the impact we may be having on our environment because of it. A global impact. The world comes to a screeching halt because of weather in some pretty dramatic ways. Really beautifully done movie. The special effects are off the charts. Number 7, this one, a little deeper thought, 12 Monkeys. 1995 science fiction film. Bruce Willis plays the main character, and it's set in the future where the world was pretty much wiped out by a virus, but they've developed time travel so they can send this one character, Cole, back in time, and he's supposed to find out what actually happened so that this virus got loose, who's to blame, so perhaps they can stop it. And things don't go the way they're supposed to. It gets very complicated. There's jumping back and forth in time a few times. It's actually a very fascinating film. This story was written brilliantly, but the world does come to an end because of a virus. Number 6, Mad Max Fury Road, 2015. This is the most recent in a series of Mad Max films. These are post apocalyptic. The world is a wasteland now. Water is a precious commodity. The fact that we went through bad stuff to get here is just kind of the backdrop. But Mad Max Fury Road is a fun movie. A good chunk of the movie is just a road race, basically. These guys trying to get away from everybody else, and it's so well done. A lot of fun in that movie. Number 5, 28 Days Later. This is zombie apocalypse again. 2002 British film uses the backdrop of a guy who has an accident and ends up in a coma. And when he wakes up 28 days later, the world has completely changed because a virus again has wiped out much of the world. Everything has stopped. He wakes up and there's no one there. And he goes wandering through London. There's nobody there. Oh, there's some there. And eventually, when they come upon him, he has to run for his life because these are fast zombies. This is the rage virus. And if you get infected, you turn very quickly and you go extremely manic and you just want to destroy and kill everyone around you. Very scary thing. What's really scary, though, is how civilization crumbles and the worst of people comes out very quickly. Number 4, the Planet of the Apes franchise. And here I'm referring to the reboot of the series that began in 2011 with Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Its most recent film just came out this year. In this one, the world comes crashing down again because of little bugs that you can't see. You go, no, the apes took over. No. In the first movie, they're trying to create something that can go in and regress the effects of Alzheimer's, basically be a cure. But in trying to do it, they end up creating a virus that kills most of the world's population. And then those who survive it, it ends up mutating and having a different of effect that they start losing their humanity. In the meantime, the monkeys, the apes that were tested on to create this virus, they have an amazing effect. They get extremely intelligent and thus they rise. And there's a sequence of movies, the struggle between the survivors of humanity and the rising ape population. It's made for a great franchise. I loved the original franchise. It started in the 60s, but this stuff's next level. And I have not seen the most recent movie. It's supposed to start streaming any day now, and I am just waiting for it. I check every day. Number 3, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I'm going with the 1978 version. This is an alien invasion movie, and it's on my top 10 alien invasion movies list. But it is also an apocalypse because humanity as a whole is going to be taken down by these invading aliens who had to leave their own planet and need to find a new home, and Earth seems to be just right. And one by one, they're replacing us. So these plant-based kind of creatures are becoming us and taking over the entire world. So, the world as we know it seems like it's going to keep going on in this one, except it won't be with any people in the end. I'd say that's an apocalypse. Number 2, Dawn of the Dead. Both the 1978 original by George A. Romero and the 2004 remake, which was Zack Snyder's directorial debut. Love him or hate him, Zack Snyder knows how to put together a movie. This original in 1978 is a direct sequel from the classic Night of the Living Dead that kicked off the modern zombie genre. A decade went by before Romero came up with this follow-up, which, again, it's not 10 years later in movie time. It's like right after the original movie. But it's showing how in the first movie where it looked like they were getting the zombies under control the next morning, no, they were not. It quickly ramps completely out of control. And so you see that happening in 1978. It also really leans into the gore and the special effects in that movie. Whew, it goes next level. It sets some standards that others then tried to duplicate. The 2004 remake has great special effects, far better than the 78, but it isn't emphasizing the gore to the same extent. It's more about the action, the story, the characters. So I kind of like the remake better than the original, but they're both worthy. And certainly the world is brought down by a zombie apocalypse. The last one on my list is one of the more recent movies I've watched. And it's different. It's definitely post-apocalyptic. I'm talking about A Quiet Place, 2018. This movie is about an alien invasion, and the aliens hunt by sound. Those humans who are left have learned to be absolutely silent. Any noise could attract the creatures who will come and kill you very abruptly. It was amazing to see a movie about an hour and a half long that had so little sound, so little dialogue, but had you riveted. These are amazingly powerful creatures. There doesn't seem to be much that humanity can do about them to stop them. So, Apocalypse. There's a great sequel to A Quiet Place 2. I'd say is just as good. And there's a third movie soon to come out, I understand, A Quiet Place Day One, when it all starts. You get a little taste of that in the second movie, but they're going to lean in completely for movie 3, and I'm here for it. All right, those are my top 10 apocalypse movies. What do you think? Put your thoughts down in the comments. If you have a favorite apocalypse movie that didn't make my top 10, let me know it. If you disagree with the order of some of these, or if you think something on this list just does not belong, let me know it. I will always respond. I love the comments. Take the time to do it. I will take the time to be there for you. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll talk to you next time.